Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ray the Awareness Channel. I'm speaking on Charlamagne the God. Shockingly, Charlamagne the God of Hot 97's, one of Hot 97's commentators from The Breakfast Club, may be facing a re-echoing of criminal charges in a rape case, and that is if his accuser, Miss Reid, is granted the option of reopening the case. In which Charlamagne pled to a lesser charge. These documents are currently all over the internet as the Star or Tory Terrain interview piqued strong viewership. Okay, those documents became must-haves for some. Okay, so anything that I'm speaking on is already out in the open, and I am not accusing Charlamagne of anything. I am just reiterating what is already out there and giving my commentary on the situation. There are websites like Hollywood Life that have thumbnails, at least, of the documents that Miss Reid presented on Star's show. Okay? So I watched or I listened to the interview on Star's show with Mrs. Reid with an unbiased ear. And that is due to me having no personal or financial relationship with Charlamagne the God. Neither do I have any vendetta or ill will towards Charlamagne the God. This is simply educational commentary on the case. Now that is out of the way, it appears to me, guys, that Miss Reid wants closure. After watching that interview, it appears to me that she really wants closure. Miss Reid stated that she didn't want any money from Charlamagne the God. However, that doesn't bind her because she made that statement to not sue if it's a possibility. However, you know, well, I can't really say her persona because I didn't get to see her facial expressions or anything like that during the video. But just listen to her speak made me believe her. I actually do believe her. And you know what? In the age that we live in today, it could be possible that she was watching the enhancement of Charlamagne the God's persona. You know, look, his book just came out. He has longevity with Hot 97, success there, and now the HBO. So Miss Reid could have just felt like, you know what, this man has totally destroyed my life, assisted others in destroying my life, and look at him living his life to the fullest. And it could be possible that she looked at all his accomplishments and resented them because she feels that he destroyed her life. You know, and there's a part of your brain that when you are a victim of sexual assault, there's a part of your brain that doesn't function like others. There's this intense paranoia. There's this intense fear. There's the intense feeling of isolation because you don't feel like you can relate to you know, people around you unless they are rape victims themselves. So I can identify with that. Ms. Reid also stated that she had to use the assistance of medication to help her get by in her daily functions of life. And you can go back and listen to Star's interview and you will be able to hear that information. So for me, as long as Miss Reid is not motivated by someone, like as long as there's no second hand in this saying, yeah, this is a good time for you to come out with your story, Miss Reid. You know, we'll give you X amount of dollars, Miss Reid. Just sign this non-disclosure deal and agreement, rather, and you know, yeah, go out there and tell your story. As long as the motivation is all coming from Miss Reid, I don't have a problem with it. You cannot tell a person who was raped or molested when the appropriate time is to tell their story. Okay, we are seeing a very nasty display going on YouTube right now because a young man named Hassan Campbell came out and told his story, and he's getting, backlash. Some of it, he said some things or whatever, but, other than that, he's getting a lot of backlash for coming out and fighting against pedophilia. Okay? And Miss Reed will experience some of the same fate. They are going to attack her looks. They're going to dig so deep into Miss Reed that it is, I don't know, I want to say astonishing to me that people will have that much time to dig into someone's life. But that's what's going to happen. That's what Miss Reed is up for. Because Charlamagne is a very big personality, and I must be a very bad judge of character because I had a lot of respect for Charlamagne. He has said things, some things I've missed, and other people are putting the information out on interviews and different things that he has said about, like slipping people's Spanish fly, enjoying the effects of seeing the women on Spanish fly, and you can tell through the commentary that he's enjoying this. So, I feel bad because, like I said, he's a person that I have a great deal of respect for. Him, Bill Cosby, Russell Simmons, Africa Bambaataa, so many. And it's very unfortunate that they choose to use their power in such a medieval way, such a dirty way, to manipulate people. But, I thought she was genuine, Miss Reed. And again, we don't have the right to tell anyone who's a victim of rape, sexual abuse, sexual molestation, sex trafficking, any of those departments. We don't have the right to tell them when they should tell their story. It takes courage. Okay, obviously her mother was the one who decided not to go forward with the prosecution of this case. And that's what it says on a document, that pretty much it was not prosecuted. It doesn't say that there weren't any guilty parties, that they couldn't prove the case, or the options that were listed on that document. The option that was clearly checked off was not prosecuted, and that's because the victim didn't cooperate. Now, the mom, partially I will blame this on her. And again, this is just my opinion. This does not bind anyone legally to anything. This is just my analysis of the situation. Obviously, mom had a 15-year-old daughter who was out, drinking, being influenced by someone to drink, or, maybe she drank previously. I don't know her personally. But as being a mom, I'm a mom of 2 teens. I have 2 teens, and no one wants to be looked at as the mom. Oh, you're the mom who's the loose mom who lets their teenagers out to be amongst people who are older than them, and could possibly be a bad influence. So mom was ultimately the deciding factor in this case not going forward. The 15 or 16 years ago, or however many years ago, this case could have been brought up against Charlamagne and his co-conspirators. Mom didn't want, anybody looking at her like, what kind of mom are you? And obviously she loved her daughter and didn't want her daughter to experience being shredded before society, because this is what we do, especially to black rape victims. We shame them. We tell them that it was somehow their fault, either through their choice of dress, their choice of association, their choice of establishment that they chose to frequent. We choose to blame black women for their rapes. It is their fault that they are raped. They put themselves in the situation. This young lady explained her story and basically took us through it and explained how she was kindly is not a word. She was kind of battling herself because she said that there were times that she felt uncomfortable because the ratio of men to women. She felt uncomfortable about the drinking because at the time she's 15, and a 15-year-old, you don't want to go home totally inebriated. If I said that right, I might be a little bit inebriated myself. But, at 15, you definitely don't want to be, showing up at home like that. So, a host of things could have been potentially going through this young woman's mind. But what struck me is that, she said she woke up with him on top of her. Charlamagne the God being the him. I am not saying that is a fact. I am just only basing on what Miss Reed's commentary was, what her facts are. Okay. Charlamagne the God is obviously responsible for getting her to that location. And he said in a video, I think with academics, that he was responsible for providing the alcohol. So this is what somehow sparked him to go down to the precinct, because he thought his cousin was under arrest for the rape. But somehow when he got to the precinct, his cousin wasn't in custody for this rape, but he took responsibility as the person who provided the alcohol during the course of this situation. So I don't know. It's just, he did plead. At the end of the day, you did plead. And now we know that black men plead out a lot because they don't want to face a tougher charge. But this young woman actually did something that a lot of people complain about, like, oh, why didn't you call the police? Why didn't you go? Well, her family, her mom and her, they actually called the police. So this is a serious situation. There are people saying that, oh, she waited 16 years or however many years, 20 years, 21 years, however many years she waited. But again, like I said, it takes courage. You have no idea unless you were a person who was raped. I was raped. I was coherent in my rape. So I know everything that happened to me. Now, I can't imagine a person that's incoherent having to deal with something happened to me and trying to figure out day by day what actually happened to me. So again, we need to be very careful in judging this situation. I think the statutes of limitations on rape should be removed, and it should coincide with murder. The same way there's no statutations on murder, there shouldn't be any statutations on rape, because the rape victim has to muster that courage, knowing that we are going to be under public scrutiny once we come out and make statements. And there also needs to be some type of protection for these rape victims when they come out, because Charlamagne has a lot of bread. Anything could happen. I'm not saying that he's going to do something to her, but I'm just saying, like, if not this situation, in other situations where people are financially well endowed, things can happen. Charlamagne the God gave himself the donkey of the day for pretty much participating due to being what he stated as raised in the rape culture. So obviously he was feeling some form of remorse. Unfortunately, the problem is that the remorse should have been shared with his victim, Miss Reed. Or his victim, or, along with others who were in the room or whatever. It could be a situation where he didn't go as far, like Pop. It could be a situation where he was just present and things happened. But I don't want to discount Miss Reed. She said she saw him, when she opened her eyes and she could get a clear visual, she saw him. So I don't want to discount that. And in this day and era, listen, they are trying to roll back Roe versus Wade, which is a personal choice. It's a personal choice of a woman. And in this climate where women's rights are constantly violated, it is astonishing to me that black women aren't more united in the feminist movement. It isn't about coddling black women. It's about us uniting. Rape, we are tired of rape. I want to say 40% of the population, and please do not quote me on this, but this is my own interpretation, of at least 40% of the population is raped. And the 60% of the population is either participants or people who are turning their heads to these situations. as far as Charlamagne the God goes, I mean, he has lawyers, he has, cash behind him. We don't know what the situation is going to be, but I wish Miss Reed the best of luck in her pursuit of getting closure. Again, like I said, she mentioned having to be medicated and, just not having any closure in her life. So just, I would ask all men, especially black men, because black men get very upset over situations like this. I would ask that black men put yourself in the shoes of a woman, temporarily, and just think about if it was you, drugged, raped, not sure of what happened to you, who touched you, who did what. And, just putting yourself in that experience. Put yourself in my experience of trusting someone, going somewhere with them and having them pull a switchblade out on you. And forcing you to strip. And if you don't strip, you're getting cut. Put yourself in black women's shoes sometime. And this is definitely to black men. Like, please don't always go to she just wants money, she's trying to get some attention and fame behind this, and really look at the situation, investigate the situation before you make these statements. And again, this is by no means attack. I don't have any personal vendetta against Charlamagne the God. If he is in fact innocent, I wish him the best road and path into proving himself innocent, if that is the case. But he has set himself up through interviews, so I don't know, but you guys, Ray Ray, I like to bring awareness through conversation in hopes that it sparks change. And in this particular video, I hope that some closure is brought on both behalves, So I am out, guys. Have a great day.